This day 1,525 Shulchan Yomi. They're doing Yerodei Asim Reis Vav Sif Samach Beis through Ayin, I believe. Yes, Samach Beis through Ayin. Samach Beis. Because the Rambam didn't you compare Zayin Din Gimel by Medvarim where it became Gadol. This is all true by a large vineyard. Our Kerem Katan Elam Machol Kerem, small Kerem does not have a Machol, a place where it's Machol, as he said yesterday, to plant. And Markik Arbamas Minak Fani Mizoyada go there, you can plant distance of 4 amos and plant up to the fence. Kerem Gadol Shilben Kol Shur V'Shur Ches Achamos. So also if it's a large Kerem, but between each row it's 8 amos or more. Elam Machol Akavashona. Shonach Sina Gimel Shonach as well. Zelbin Mushan Perek Dal, but time Omer some reasons say there's chutza chamri mitocha. Outside of it should not be more severe than within it. Total b'ches ha'amah mutal as well. If within it and within if there's a gap of 8 amos throughout the plant, chutza lo yeh base outside should be 12. So he quite his bar the camera to shmona amos mutal be zero l'sham v'achar shishat v'achim. Where he said that if a vineyard is planted for a gap of 8 amos, you'll have to put grape other seeds there, as long as you leave a 6 tvachim gap. Gimel. So it has to be less than 8 amos, obviously, in order to be a kerem. Kan kerem cotton, but has a small kerem. Lo chasher al vayam does not explain. The parabia the cotton shlosha. They explain the small one is 3 amos, 3 or shtaim or 2 by 2 with 1 coming out as a tail. Shoshos make gadol and 3 rows. It's 9 kfanim presumably. Make gadol is called gadol. That could be 7. Turetz Kusha, the bracket says Turetz Kusha Kesed Mishnah Sham and Sham Misham Tosafus. Chayin Tzamar Gomel Klen Gimel and Misham Mishos Tosafus and Brim Nosha. Okay. Samach Gimel. Okas of Ram Misham Din Yudal. Ram also writes with Shacharav Sim Dal. Haya God there. I'm going to make is a Karen policy. Start walking. There was a fence around the the vineyard, which is less than 10 high. Oshad Gabo start walking. It was 10 high. Ben Baruch of Arbat Vachim, but it didn't have a width of 4 tvachim, actually a length of 4 tvachim. And little machol has no machol. El marchik misam bagfarim amos. This is from the end of the gfarim 4 amos. Ma'azor out of mechitz plant onto the wall. I feel like ben gfarim mechitz arbos mechza. Between the grapevines and the wall is only 4.5 amos. We can plant the half amos. By the time the year, the reason seems to be the came they shein god el chashiv. Since there isn't a fence which is significant, but go bracham in its height and its breadth, it's not significant enough to have leave 4 amos on its side to walk next to it. Male ain't so like amos, only need the 4 amos level as the kerem for the working of the kerem. Gam arba amos she'em to makom chashuv ain't tzorich. Also 4 amos in the middle as a makom chashuv in which to plant, you don't need. The aim the zelo shetayves isim shem goes is only where the iser comes at you from 2 different places. But zelo shkos shafil nishar chatzi amma zayres even only have a half amma left. Zor you can plant the kamad lo bein makom choshev arbamos. You don't need to have choshev a place of 4 amos in order to plant the zroim. Sam tak parkus sam the sit some gimel lam gimel you right to shesh go to shesh go ben finding zroim when there's a fence between the grapevines and the grain. Zechon some going to be kind of some zroim. One can put his grapevines adjacent to the fence on one side, the other his seeds adjacent to the fence on the other. Because time we don't go after the nourishing, but rather after what we can recognize. Therefore, if you have a fence that's 10 tefachim high, or a trench which is 10 tefachim deep and 4 tefachim wide, the choretz she'ein rochav arba tefachim, because a trench which is not 4 tefachim wide, ain't no nika cloud, it's not, you can't discern it at all. As opposed to a fence, insert rochav nika gova, you don't need to have a width because it's obviously it's height. You just don't need that breadth. That would require a breadth of 4 tefachim. Go there. That's not for the actual fence as a chalei shame fence, rather give it a significance. To allow for that should require 4 amos to be left fallow around it. So if you have a fence that's 10 feet high or a trench which is 10 feet deep, Baruch v'arba ab tvachim is 10 to 4 tvachim broad. Raise the mutal yikar karen kin betzita mikan. You can plant a vineyard on one side, karen v'yirakos mitzia mikan, and vegetables on the other side. I feel mechitza shokanim, even a wall of reeds die sufficient. People ain't a kind of only but says that even the reeds are not so closely packed together. As long as less than feet far from one to the next. Have a mechitza, some mechitza. The Allah Lemation be Sinai. The Allah Moshe is Pachas Mishlosh Love Adam Mishabes Kilayim. Lesson 3 is said to be closed up by both Shabbos and Kilayim. Samachay Gadar Mavdi Ben Karen Biyarak Shnifratz Ad Eser Amos. We have a fence between a vineyard and a vegetable patch, which is which has an opening, which is up to 10 amos wide. I raise like a Pesach, it's still a Pesach. With Shabbos, and with the smoke zeal is African Pesach, you put seeds opposite grapevines, even mamish connected the opening. Opposite the opening. Pesach Avega God to the Atzmo. The opening is like a fence itself. That call Chaim. Everybody sees the Zeu Shazel Pesach. It's opening via Sheker, and this is a cognition. Ha'isa Prutza Yes Master, if it's more than 10 amos broad, connected appears to also actually argument in front of Gashir. So opposite the opening, you can't plant anything unless you distance yourself the 4 amos. I know Arba amos. The 4 amos distance from one to the other. Connected Omei corresponding to where the fence is actually standing, they're mutter. Nivatuba Plotzes Rabos, if there are a lot of holes in the fence, none of them more than 10. If an overall measure of the perimeter you had as much structure as open, how there is the mutter missile kilo as if there is no opening. Appearances you can plant also by the place where the opening of the holes are. Parts because real when parts is when they're precisely the same. Having real parts is the same like having more ome than parts, and therefore it's mutter. Parts but if there's more open space than there was closed up area, you should not plant opposite the places where it is open to the distance of the 4 amo minimum. The Sham that's Psak the Rambam Shulchan. Samazayim. Utmiyani, I'm astonished, says Arukh HaShulchan. The Be'ermin, the Septic Kilayim, Mevur, the Davka Sheyesh, B'chol Ome, L'chol Pachas, Arba Tvachim. You need to have in the standing structure at least 4 Tvachim. I will give him a Dav, it's between 3 and 4. 4 Shamdim, Parts, Merubah, Laimei. It's explicit that if you have more open space, you have standing space, standing wall. After also, even corresponding to the place where it's standing, it's also. Because if it's less than 4 tvachim broad, it's not significant to be considered to be a structure. Why not explain this in the poskim? Nearly Mishum Yusham Misham Isa Achakach, because Yusham says, we don't, the measure from 3 to 4 does not exist. Klomar, meaning, we have to remove this line from this tosefta. Even though the Eremin is not explicit. Spherely, the Ram holds the Shas Eremin Hevia Brisa Gav Gorora, then the Shabbos. The Shas Eremin brings this Brisa because it's talking about Shabbos issues. Therefore, wasn't meticulous in quoting. Shekin Yushan Klaim as opposed to Yushan Klaim, which is meticulous, came with Shamra Kain. Therefore, whatever it says in the Yushan Klaim, Kain Halacha, that's Lacha. Bracket says Kain is Daiti, Agora Kibbe, Gam Rava Sham Spherely, Kain, Ayin Rash V'Tzorchim. Okay, Mem, Hey. No, Mem Ches. Ota Samaches. Ota Tmiyanimizm. I'm also astonished about this. The name of Tosefta Reishberg Dal Taina. Sefta says the time Rabbi Gamliel based. You know he's kinushu marchikim arbamas mikari gufanim gogader. You have this 4 from the trunks of the grapevines to the fence iron trunk. Because around Fair Shamish Ram writes Zel Shona as follows. The Gader and Mafish Ben Kerem is also a fence which separates between a vineyard and its fellow. Achuchal Niachazer inside the Gader Zeh. Till you point that you can put your seeds on this side fence, Mikam Kulei, which again, Yafish Man, because the fence was separate between them. You have this 4 hours from the grapevines to the fence. Okay, if he says the Pesham Mishais, why does it not say it's in the yard? They said it's true they wrote they wrote Omar Bagmara. He does, yeah. It says Omar Bagmara. But Avlam Matzah, he said, I don't see this specific Gemara. Machin Arba Sigfanim, then in the Bisham Bavli. I'll come with Tosefta, but it is the Tosefta. Talking about Chazal by Chibro, I say that in his Chibur he doesn't bring it down because he reneged on it. The Bamas Mao said Lashon Mikra Kfan Lagar. What is this language from the trunk to the fence? Okay, the line Pir Shal Yinacher. So perhaps he explains that something else. How much mentions Bar Sif Stam base the Bekarim Katan Elam Bachol that in a small video like we saw in the open today. As I have in Bachol, Rakshmarking Arba Amos, I interrupt this for Amos see there. But that's going to come. The bracket says here, Groy Yami Ikar Gfani Besada. On the trunk in front of the field, so I can the Zel Meikra Dina Ne Avodas Akerem. This Ikra Dina you need 4 Amos because of Avodas Akerem. Divi Amfarish Moim, words of the Mefarish, I guess Yerushalmi are astonishing. Ayin Shlomaduk. Samach Tes Opi, I'm also astonished. The B'Tesefter Shamtai, the Sefer says, Komachit Shasir Shesi, B'Enasir Arab, any wall which is only horizontal and not vertical, Arab and Osir Shesi, or vice versa. Harizamachit is still a wall. Rabbi Yossi says no. But certainly has to be a Tanakama. So I'm in Shabbos, I'm Erev, also an Erev Shabbos, but Erev in that way. Who puts around Perik the Zayin Shabbos, Din Yuches, I have Mechitz, pulls it as a wall. But Lama, Lo, he's gears of come. Why is he ruled here that either vertical or horizontal is enough? So my stomach, my Shabbos, and Bechel Shabbos, you have to say line, but you're on Shechel Shabbos, Sarchin. I'm not sure. Yes, me, I'm also astonished, especially astonished. Erev, Here it says, a person came and pulled 4 poles in the 4 corners of the field. It stretched a branch on top of them. They allowed it in terms of Klam there because this was a rudimentary source of Besa. Perish Rashi. The says that this heter only applies up to 10 amos. Below me that side. Oh no, this is talking about with Kilayim. That side works, but it's only when it's on. But that's only up to 10 amos. For more than 10 amos, you eat on top, not on the side. Both of them coming that side, which are less than 10, most of them within that side. For Lama Lois Karama Machos and Mu'uma Tzarkin. Why did the Rambam mention the heter of Hutzuras Vestim that side, which applies to Kilayim, even though it doesn't apply to Shabbos? He's not sure why. If the wall of the vineyard has become busted, we tell the owner of the vineyard to close it up. God, the closed up and it broke. Say it do the second time. The Yisrael he gave up and didn't fence it. Raise the key, she comes consecrate Oster. But after Yisrael specifically gave up hope. Yisrael hasn't given up hope. Oster is constantly involved in order to fix it. Even though in the meantime, it added 1/200 gold to still mutter. Came with Lo Nichole, since he's not happy with this. The Chesed says, "Lo kar mecha," and it says, "Do not plant your vineyard." Much as we are the Nichole, it's got to be a planet which is okay with you. He also is required to pay for the Zroim if the Zroim belong to other people in the Baal Kerem Nechshav Kamasi, because Baal Kerem is damaging. Because it relates like his arrows being shot, his flaming, fiery arrows being shot into the grain field. The Dafka Shut doesn't say flaming, fiery. Good point. Davka Shitu, but it's only if you warned him. I'm born Russian only Logador. So you say him, make offense. They didn't warn him, and so Shai doesn't have to pay. But Gam Pam Shnia, all second time, Tzirim Asas, you have to warn him again. I mean, some Pam Shnia, if it broke the third time, Yesal Tzirim Asas, but the question if you have to actually warn him yet a third time. If you want to make him pay, you better warn him. Otherwise, you have to extricate, because you need evidence to extricate the money from the unless you warned them, you don't have proof. So you warned them, you don't prove that you knew. Zechash Nika is considered to be hezek which is recognizable. Nika Shu Kilayim, everybody can see it's kind of Shu Kilayim. We see it growing intermingled. Chayim L'Shalim B'Din you have to pay on account of your causing, direct cause of damage. Which causes the Chayim Mission Sin Shem Beibab, Atzim Kimol. And brackets it says here, V'Kvar Tov Manu Sham Al Rambam Shulchan Shvitach Chayim B'Chriyusa. They left out your Chayim to pay for the other guy's grain, V'Tzorich Iyun, and requires further analysis. But that is it for us for today.